Good afternoon, and welcome to Wizard's World. I am Jim Redondi, and today we have with us Stephanie Copeland from Windstar Cruises. Stephanie will let us know all about small ship cruising, which allows Windstar to get to places the bigger ships cannot, and without sacrificing any of the amenities one would expect while cruising. As a reminder, we would appreciate it if you would mute yourself so there is no background noise during the presentation. And if you have any questions, please use the chat box and we will get to your questions at the end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. Take it away, Stephanie.
I sure will. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here to talk about Windstar Cruises. I know it's been a really rough year for everybody. We are really close to getting into the water and sailing again in June, and we have so many exciting things to share with you. Our ships are just better than ever, and we have worldwide destinations open to our guests again starting in June of this year. So lots to share. As Jim mentioned, I am Stephanie Copeland. I'm the manager of key accounts and international sales for Windstar Cruises, and I'm based here in Seattle, which happens to be sunny Seattle at the moment, very surprisingly. So thank you for taking just a little bit of time with me today. I appreciate it. You'll see our tagline down here at the bottom. It is, we imagine and deliver personalized and immersive experiences that are 180 degrees from ordinary. And I hope today I'm going to help you to see what we mean by that and what 180 degrees from ordinary means for Windstar Cruises and for your vacation. We like to say that we're taking travelers in a different direction because we're a little different than the standard cruises that you might be thinking of. We're taking you to captivating places. We're taking you to the places that are beyond the reach of other ships. And we can do that because we have this fabulous fleet of small ships that can go into these tiny little harbors and take you to these off the beaten path sorts of places. You could perhaps go see goats and trees. This is one of the lovely shore excursions that we do. But what you're going to find with Windstars as you go to these on these unique itineraries, you're going to get to the harbors where the other ships can't go, and you're going to be able to walk right off your ship and be right in the heart of the action. Like this is a picture I actually took myself in Shanghai. We just walked, this is right onto the Bund. We were able to walk right off the ship into the Bund, which you can't get to on a larger ship because you have to go down this river. And our ships are small enough that they can get there, bring you right to the heart of the action. So we like to say that we're not just another cruise line, that we're another travel experience altogether, because we consider your trip to be half about the ship, half about the shipboard experience, and the other half is really the destination. We really like to bring you a very authentic and immersive destination experience. So again, we craft these fantastic itineraries to really get you up close to the places that you really want to see. So let's talk a little bit about what is small ship cruising. We have a fleet of 6 ships. The biggest one carries only 342 guests. So this is pretty small. And our babies carry 148 guests. You might have been on some of the bigger cruise ships. I mean, there are ships out there that are carrying 5,000 people, right? So this is truly small. When you're on board with a group of what we say like-minded travelers. These might be people that have kind of been around, right? They've seen some of the regular normal destinations, and they're looking for something else that they can sort of check off their bucket list. And these like-minded travelers are so much fun to travel with. When you're on board our ships, we sort of like build this kind of a bond, right, amongst the crew and amongst the guests, and really everybody becomes sort of like a family environment. It just happens naturally every time, and our crew is the best of the best. When you're on board, you're going to be in a relaxed environment. So it's sort of an understated luxury, right? It's not too fancy. You get this feeling that you're on your own private yacht, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. Large open decks, lots of space. We were social distancing before social distancing was cool, is what we like to say. Of course, as I mentioned, the smaller ports, the hidden harbors away from the crowds. And our shore excursions have always been intimate in the sense that they are in small groups, not big, massive groups of people. So just to give you a quick overview of our fleet, we have 6 yachts. 3 of those are the ones with the sails that you can see on the right. The Windstar and the Windspirit are our smallest at 148 guests. And then our largest is the Windsurf at 342 guests. They all look very similar. The Star and the Spirit, of course, are sister ships. The Windsurf is absolutely spectacular, and it's interesting to know that she's actually the largest sailing vessel in the world, the largest commercial sailing vessel in the world. So although she's small for a cruise ship, she's quite large for a sailing ship, or a sailboat, if you want to call her that. Now, we also have 3 ships without the masts, and those are what we call our Star class. These ships also offer so much. First of all, they're all suites, and I'll show you some pictures of those suites because they're just spectacular. Even just, your standard stateroom on this ship is huge with walk-in closets and beautiful windows. In fact, on all of our ships, we don't have any inside staterooms. All of them are outside, meaning that every stateroom has at least a window, if not a balcony, okay? So our Star class ships are the Star Breeze, the Star Legend, and the Star Pride. So together they make up a fleet that is really 180 degrees from ordinary. So as I mentioned, we are sort of working in understated elegance here. We're not going for formal. You're not going to have to wear a suit and tie to dinner. And there's no set dining times. You can dine whenever you want, with whomever you want, and it's just really a more casual experience, like you maybe would prefer to have back in your home, back in your normal life, going out to a nice dinner. But what you're going to get is still the 5-star service and the 5-star food, which I'll show you a little bit more about too. So you get all of that without having to get all dressed up, right? So the feeling on board is relaxed. You have relaxed days to spend time with the people you might have come on board with, right? And everybody really appreciates that. The schedule on board is unregimented. Maybe you want to enjoy some of the water activities off of the sports platform, which I have some more information for you. Is very exciting. And then, of course, the freedom from crowds. Very, very important, maybe now more than ever, right? Some of the examples of the freedom from crowds is, of course, when you're on board, you're not fighting for a deck chair. You're not standing in line for meals. When you're going to shore, you're not standing in line to get off the ship, and certainly not to get back on board the ship. So little things like that can really make a big difference. You don't have the crowds sort of getting in the way of what you are on vacation to do, in your relaxation. So our guests really like that freedom from crowds. And of course, the service. Because we have so few guests on board, we can anticipate the guests' needs like nobody else. Our crew is known to be so friendly. They get to know each passenger. Usually by the second day, they know everybody's name. And they, of course, they know what you like to drink, they know where you like to sit, and they're just so friendly and welcoming. And they are there to really anticipate your needs so that you can relax. It is like being on your own private yacht. Needless to say, that really is the experience that you get no matter which ship you're on. You're going to have that same feeling of being on your own private yacht. Now, in addition, you're going to have some fantastic food. So, of course, I think that a huge part of travel is your dining experience, and maybe the cultural food experience as well. And we have you covered in both ways. When you're on board the ship, you will have the best cuisine that is brought to you by the chefs from the famous James Beard Foundation. Windstar Cruises is the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation, if you're familiar with who they are. They basically pick the best chefs in the country, if not the world. And we have all kinds of programs on board, maybe classes and culinary experiences on board and on shore that help demonstrate the whole food tourism angle of your trip, because again, I think food's such a big part of it. So what we like to say is that the Windstar guests do more than soak up the local flavor, they eat it because a lot of times we'll actually source our food and some of our meals from the local food from the local vendors, which is all somewhat planned ahead of time, but we're using the local resources and giving you a flavor of where you are, and we're doing that on purpose so that you can have the full immersive experience. So at the same time, you're just going to have some just amazing things. This is probably going to get you hungry. For those of you who aren't watching this live, it's about 5 o'clock, and so I think everybody's probably going to start thinking, that looks pretty good. Here are some of the choices that you have when you're dining on board Windstar. It varies a little bit depending upon which ship you're on, but in any case, you're going to have a choice of some outdoor dining, some fine dining, and then things like the Yacht Club Cafe. That's available all day long, where you can get fancy coffees, and you can get little sandwiches and desserts all day long. And guess what? It's all included. So with Windstar, all of our alternative dining is included in the cost of the cruise. We don't charge any more for any of these restaurants. And for the most part, you don't even really have to make a reservation. You can kind of just say, hey, let's try the veranda tonight. Let's try candles, or let's go to Amphora. And you can go, as I said, as a couple for a table for two, or maybe you met some people and you want to have a big table of 8 people. You can do that. And then, or maybe you want to stay in your room. We have a 24-hour room service, and again, complimentary, included in the cost of the cruise, because all dining on Windstar is included. And there's more. You won't have enough time to eat everything. It's wonderful. Some of the other little things that make us different. We have an open bridge policy. This is our Captain Neil, and the captain and the officers on the bridge welcome guests all day long. You can come up there pretty much all the time, even in the middle of the night, because there's always somebody on the bridge, right? We even serve you coffee there. So seriously, it's just a wonderful, again, back to that feeling of being on your own private yacht. A great experience for those that want to learn. Maybe you want to learn a little bit about the navigation instruments. Maybe you want to learn about where we are, where you're sailing, or how it's done. They are just more than happy to talk and meet with the guests. And then, as I alluded to earlier, all of our ships have what we call a water sports platform that opens off the aft of the deck, like you see here. So again, whether you're on one of the sailing ships or one of the Star Class ships, you will have this sports platform. From here, you have complimentary water activities. When we will usually designate, we will tell you when you look at one of our itineraries, we will tell you which days we will be able to open the sports platform, because obviously if we're sailing, if we're underway, we can't open that. But when we are in a harbor and we're anchored, we're able to do this, and you can go. You can go sailboarding, you can go swimming, you can go snorkeling, you can even go water skiing. There is just a huge amount of activities you can do, and again, all complimentary. For instance, when we go to Tahiti or the Caribbean, we give everybody their own set of snorkel gear. that you get to keep the whole time. You know, you have to return it, but you get to use your own set of snorkel gear the whole time. And so maybe you just want to jump off the back of the ship and see what's there. You can do that. You're really, you know, you're close, you're getting more of the feeling of being on a cruise ship as opposed to just being on maybe a floating hotel, right? You're close to the water and getting the full experience. So the sports platform is really a big part of the Windstar experience, and I really enjoy it. Oh, before I go into the destinations, I'm going to see if this video will play.
There are those places on Earth we call hidden gems because big cruise ships can't find them. Places that few will see, but the ones who do will remember forever. Where we use our navigational skills to steer clear of the expected. These are the places only a Windstar Cruise can take you. So unlike the big cruise ships that only go to big cruise places, Windstar takes you further and gets you closer to the tucked-away ports and pristine isles only itineraries designed for a smaller ship can reach. You'll chart your own course. Whether you're getting lost in the past, catching up with local culture, or going off on your own adventure, you'll always arrive back to the ship with plenty of stories to share. So why not try a dish you can't pronounce? Find a secluded spot to sunbathe. Bring home an ancient recipe as a souvenir. You'll visit all 5 senses before you hit the first port on the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation, with exceptional locally sourced dishes, prepared by world-class chefs. From dining al fresco to coffee with the captain, you'll enjoy welcoming, highly personal service that's been named the best on the seas. Because at Windstar, we believe the smaller the ship, the grander the journey, for travel that's 180 degrees from ordinary. Welcome aboard.
So let's talk a little bit about our destinations. Like I said, it's very important to Windstar, not just the onboard experience, but the experience of the places you visit, the experience that you get out of the places you visit. And that has to do with the, with the nature and the culture and the people, of course, right? And the wildlife and the food. There's so much to see. It is the reason why we travel, is to have these new experiences and see new and exciting places. And I will mention too that if you're like most people I know, you're ready to go. What we're seeing right now in the cruise industry is people haven't been able to cruise for a year, and goodness, they want to go. Nobody seems to be hesitant. They're just waiting for us to say it's time. So we're beginning to see a lot of people who are planning ahead, looking at 2022, and then even at the end of this year, and into 2023, making their plans right now because they're saying, okay, it's almost time. So please don't wait. What we're looking at is probably a very busy 2022 for cruising. Here's a little snapshot of where our ports of embarkation. This is not everywhere we go. This is just where some of our ships start their cruises, right? So this is not everywhere, but you can see that we really cover the globe. Everything from Alaska to Australia to Tahiti, way down there, Papeete, you can barely see on the bottom left, and the Caribbean, of course, and all over Northern Europe, Iceland. We go to some amazing places. Now, I'm going to just go through just a handful of some of our itineraries because I can't possibly go through all of them. But I'm going to go through what we like to call our select sailings. And these are essentially the most popular sailings, okay? These are the ones that just, a lot of times they're on people's bucket list. They're like, I gotta go there. And they are sailings that Windstar has been doing for quite some time. And we really know these itineraries. We know these destinations. And yet they're unique again, because we're not going to maybe the bigger ports of call. We're going to the smaller harbors where you can just walk right off the ship and you're in it. So one of our very popular itineraries, of course, is the classic Italy and Dalmatian coast. Going through Italy, that coast there is just spectacular. That's where they make I remember going to a place where they made the fresh mozzarella. Just a mom and pop or a family-owned place where they made the fresh mozzarella, and they made some for us, and we got to take it back to the ship, and the chef cut it up and gave us a beautiful caprese salad. It was just such an experience that I will never forget. If you have not been to Croatia, my goodness, it is like the most underrated place in the world. Absolutely beautiful. So this cruise, you really get to see a lot. And if you're at all interested in going to the Mediterranean, then I highly recommend taking a look at this cruise. Now, another Mediterranean option is the yachtsman harbors of the Riviera. This is sort of like lifestyles of the rich and famous, right? You're going to Monte Carlo and Portofino and Barcelona, and it's just spectacular. You get to go right into these places, right up to them. Sometimes you're going to tender on a small little boat to go into town, but then you're right there in town. And sometimes we're able to dock right there in the harbor. So again, this is what they call the elite's premier yachting playgrounds, and you get to rub shoulders with the rich and famous, or perhaps you are the rich and famous, and then you belong there. Okay, so Greece, it's such a wonderful place to go on a Windstar ship, because look at all these little islands that we can just get up close to. This is where I had my honeymoon, pretty much on this itinerary, and I will never forget it. Really spectacular. You're going to see all of the really must-see places in Greece, the small islands and roads, and even parts of Turkey. And then let's see, did we skip? Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a second itinerary. So we have a couple of very popular itineraries in Greece. And this is the 7-day. The last one was more of the 10 or 11-day. We have a lot of options there. And you can see we're hopping around. We're getting to all the great places you want to go. And it's hard to even put together a slideshow like this, because there are so many great pictures and I can't put them all in. But my goodness, it's just the most picturesque place you can possibly go. So Windstar is perfectly suited for the Mediterranean. We also have some nice little touches, like our complimentary destination discovery events. So this is a picture of an event that we do in Kusadasi at the evening in Ephesus. This is just for Windstar guests, right? This is not a shore excursion that other people can be on, or a restaurant that other people can go to. This is an event that is just for Windstar guests. Everybody you see there is from the ship, and it's complimentary. Now, we don't do that on every one of our cruises, but we do it on quite a few of our cruises, and it's something to look for. The Destination Discovery event is, again, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You can see that these folks are having a fantastic, this actually a 5-course dinner, and there's a quartet playing for them live, and it's just, really an amazing moment. It gives me goosebumps to think about it. So another experience that kind of sets us apart. Now, Alaska, you know what? It's been a year. We haven't been able to go to Alaska last year. And guess what? I'm sorry, we're not able to go to Alaska this summer either. Windstar won't be going to Alaska this summer, but we have so many people that have been dying to go. We are definitely, knock on wood, going next year, because here's the thing, we have an amazing experience for you in Alaska. Again, up close, you can see in these pictures how close we can get you to the glaciers. And you can take shore excursions right off the aft of our ship. If you remember seeing the picture I showed you of the sports platform, well, in Alaska, perhaps you don't want to go snorkeling, right? But We do have Zodiac boats and kayaks that you can take right off the aft of the ship on a shore excursion like these folks are doing. So you're not getting on a bus, a crowded bus, and you're not going, taking hours to get to where you want to go. You're right off the ship and you're right there in the action, and you can see, the whales. You can see everything right from the ship, even if you don't want to get off the ship. So Windstar's Alaska is really something special. This particular itinerary, and we have a few different itineraries, but this itinerary won the award with Condé Nast for the best Alaska itinerary in 2019, which was the last time that we were in Alaska. And we've just been dying to go back and continue that itinerary. Now, of course, just about all of our cruises, you can add a tour onto, either in the beginning or the end. You could, in this case, you would have a lovely tour into Denali National Park for 3 or 4 days, and everything's included on that tour. So if you have made the way to Alaska and you want to spend a little bit more time, we have those options for you as well. And our ships are getting you into those harbors where you, like I say, you can see the glaciers right up close, like places that the bigger ships can't get to. So if Alaska is something you've been thinking about, I got to tell you, I think doing it with Windstar is different than anything. Oh, here's a little tree. This is a Castle Glacier. This is only a few seconds long. Take a look. Wow. Talk about a once in a lifetime experience, right? That was actually some video taken by one of my colleagues while they were on board Windstar in Alaska. Really spectacular. Okay, now we're going to jump to someplace warm. Maybe the ice made you cold. Now let's get warm. Okay, let's look at the Caribbean. I could do easily an hour just about the Caribbean, and I'm only going to show you this one slide just to give you an idea, but we do offer sailings throughout the Caribbean on all of our classes of ships, and they can be 7 days all the way to 56 days in the Caribbean. And again, maybe even if you've been to the Caribbean before, when you take a Windstar Caribbean cruise, you might see some different ports of call, right? Because we get to get away from the bigger ports that only the big ships can go to by choice. We get to go to some of these other destinations. So if you're looking for someplace to go, and even if you've done Caribbean, but you want to stay a little bit closer to home than, say, going to Europe, please take a look at our itineraries, because you might be surprised at how unique they are. And again, you can do a 7-day cruise, or you can do back-to-back sailings, which a lot of our guests do, and we call them collector's cruises. When you do a collector's cruise, you get a special discount, you get free laundry, you get some other stuff, but most importantly, we design our itineraries so that we're not just repeating the same itinerary over and over again. We build them so that our guests can cruise a back-to-back cruise, and some will string many of them together. So again, you've missed cruising for maybe 2 years by the time you take a cruise, so you should at least take 3 cruises, right? Oh boy, I'm sure everybody would like to do that. But anyway, keep in mind that our collector's cruises are a great option if you just want to stay on board and you don't want to be jumping from one ship to another or on and off land. Tahiti. Now, Tahiti is a big product for Windstar because it's where we got our start, actually. We have been in business for about 30 years, and our first ships were sailing in Tahiti, and they were actually built for Tahiti. So it means a lot to us. Windstar does sail in Tahiti year round, and there's the beautiful wind spirit that stays in Tahiti. And here we have another one of those destination discovery events. And this is the Bora Bora Festival on the Motu, the islands, a private beach Motu celebration where we serve a feast, and we have fire dancers, and we take everybody to and from the ship. And this is a photo, actually, again, taken by a colleague. that when they were coming back to the ship after this wonderful experience that they had on the beach, and the ship was just so lit up that, you know, it's just irresistible to take a picture. So again, an experience that is not found readily in other places. Beautiful, beautiful Tahiti. We offer 7-day cruises. We offer 10 and 11-day cruises. And again, we offer some examples of some back-to-back cruises that you can take in Tahiti. And, you know, you really just can't go wrong. Yeah, here's the, you know, branching out to some of the Tumotu Islands, and, you know, you're going to see amazing sea life, amazing flora. It's a spectacular place. And I don't have a slide on this, but I will mention to you that this year, I'm sorry, I should say in 2022, next year, we will be also going to Australia. So our ship, we have 2 ships that will be coming down to Tahiti, and one of them will take our guests up into Australia and New Zealand. So if those are places that you're interested in going, you know, again, maybe you take a little Tahiti cruise and then you jump over to Australia. You know, it's a long ways to travel too, so why not make the most of it, right? But again, when you're in Tahiti with this fantastic sailing ship, it's about as perfect as it gets, in my opinion. Oh, yes, I have. Let me give you an example. You don't have to take my. You ready to go? I know I am. I am ready for that cruise. Okay, now I don't know if anybody that I'm talking to right now is a yacht club member. You can all be yacht club members very easily by taking only one cruise, and then you are a yacht club member. And if you've taken more than one cruise, then it even gets better. You have all kinds of perks. Now, if you have been a yacht club member before, you might be used to our program, but I would love to share with you now that we've made some tweaks to it in the past few months, and it's just so great, the things that we are offering. Now, I will mention that you can find all of this on our website, right? If you just go to windstarcruises.com, you can find all of this. There's a special section for yacht club members. Yacht club members, by the way, are those that have taken a cruise with Windstar before. We now have a star system, a 1, 2, 3, or 4-star system. And every day is a point. As I said, you get to be a one-star member after you've taken just one cruise, and you can see that the perks are really nice. You get a discount on your next cruise. You get onboard credit. You get discounts on our beverage package, our laundry, our Wi-Fi, all of that sort of thing. And it just gets better and better as you go up to the 4-star. And then you get special recognition when you're on board as well. We have a cocktail party for our yacht club members, and you have a special key and a special tote bag. So it's really fantastic. Oh, and also, if you know anybody who's been on Windstar, or if you yourself has been on Windstar, you get $100 per person bonus if you refer somebody and they book. So you get the bonus if you're cruising, and the person you recommended also gets the bonus. That's $100 per person on their cruise, and that's an onboard spending credit. So that's a fun little perk you get for referring somebody. So maybe there's a couple of you that want to go, and or a couple couples, and now would be the time to do that. So the Yacht Club member program is fantastic. So I will end here, although I do have additional videos I can show and additional slides, but I don't want to spend too long, and there might be some questions, but I hope that this has given you a really nice overview of what we are. I could go on and on and on about our ships, about our onboard experience, and about our destinations. But please do visit our websites, and also talk to the Travel Wizards experts, okay? Because they can really point you in the right direction. So I hope that I get to see everybody on board. I know I'm ready to go.
Oh, well, thank you, Stephanie. That was very nice, very exciting. Let's see, I got cold, I got warm, I laid on a beach, I saw wildlife, I got hungry, a lot of things in that, for taking us all throughout the world, which you guys seem to cover very nicely. I like that Greek island and that Alaska itinerary you're showing to me. I'm like going, okay, which one do I do first?
Yeah.
But we do have some questions actually that have come in the chat box, and one of them just came in as you were talking about the yacht club, and they wanted to know if like wine and spirits and things of that nature are included on your cruises.
Right. That is an excellent question. So the answer is yes and no. So we include all of our non-alcoholic beverages on board. So everything from, say, those fancy coffees and bottled water and sodas and juices and all of that is, of course, included. But we do not automatically include alcohol. We kind of do that on purpose, I will tell you, because over the years, we do continue to ask our past guests, would you prefer that it was included on board? And overwhelmingly, the response is that they prefer not to have it already included in the price. Some people don't really take advantage of the drinks like others do. And so they like to see what the price is before they have the beverages. Now, we make it super, super easy for you to add a beverage package if that's what you want to do. And then it's really as if it's all included, because it's not as if you have to walk around with a bracelet on or anything that says, I get my drinks for free, because we know you. The ships are small enough that we know that bartenders don't have to ask, right? So if you want it to be all inclusive, it is easily all inclusive. But it's designed so that you have the choice.
Okay, and the next question in the chat has to do with activities that might be available after dinner.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's another really good point. And I appreciate the question, because one thing I didn't mention is that a lot of our itineraries will stay in port well into the evening, if not overnight. And part of the reason we do that is so that, one, you might have the option of going off the ship again for an evening activity in the port of call, or we might bring some entertainment on board. We do tend to do that quite a bit. We'll bring on local artisans or entertainers, singers, musicians. And the fact that our ship is there overnight or late into the evening lets us do that. So we bring on this unique mix of onboard entertainment and experiences, both daytime and nighttime. So we build it into our itineraries.
Okay, well, that sounds good. The next question, it has to do with cutting a ship in half. Did you guys cut a ship in half and add cabins?
Yeah, you're good. Somebody's been paying attention. Yes, here at Windstar, we'd like to cut our ships in half. It's funny, I didn't put it in the presentation, but because sometimes, like you have to go into it in depth so that you understand this is perfectly safe, okay? We're not the first ones to do this. But our 3 ships, the ones without the sails, the Star class ships, have been going through a major transformation this last year. And we literally cut them in half and put in a new section in the middle to make them longer. So they went from 212 passengers to 312 passengers. We added 50 new suites. But the biggest part of this, the biggest reason for this is to add more public spaces and spaces for onboard experiences. So for example, we added 2 new dining experiences on board, a fantastic little Spanish tapas restaurant, and then a whole new space on the uppermost deck for open air dining, which is the Star Grill. For just like kind of really cool upscale barbecue. These are alternative dining options that were added, again, complimentary, but they're added in addition to our regular all-day dining in the 2 or 3 different restaurants that we have on board, in addition to the new ones. So there's so much to see about that. And yeah, I wish I had more time because there's some amazing pictures. But the ships are bad. We have 1 ship that is complete. That's the Star Breeze, and she's sailing. She's been doing all of her sea trials and all of that, just looking fantastic. And then 1 ship that is nearly finished, and that's the Star Legend. And then the Star Pride is in dry dock right now. I think she has just had the cut, and then we'll be putting in the middle section and then doing all that work, putting them back together. But this happens at the shipyard in Italy, Fincantieri, and these guys have been doing this for a long time. These are the pros. You can't do any better than this. And I'll tell you what's a result of this. Those 3 ships are like brand new. So especially if you have been on one of those 3 ships before, it'd be fun to see the transformation, right? So if that's something a lot of people are doing. And if you haven't been on one of those ships before, then you will walk on and you will feel like, wow, this is a brand new, beautiful ship. So yeah, we cut our ships in half.
Okay, the next, then, like I said, I have a few more coming through. Are there gyms on board each ships?
Yes, indeed. And that is another improvement that we were able to make on the Star class ships, is make an even bigger exercise facility. So we will have some exercise classes, and we have a gym. The gym is complimentary. There's no additional charge for that. And it varies, on the smaller sail ships, it's a smaller space, but it's quite large on the bigger ships, big for us. So you have the gyms, you have a spa on board as well. Fantastic spa for spa treatments and steam rooms and all of that sort of thing. And then don't forget, you have the sports deck as well. That's kind of like its own gym, right? So yes, we do have gyms and that sort of thing on board, and a salon. We have a spa and a salon.
Well, we have somebody here that's excited about the Australia and New Zealand tour, so maybe we'll have somebody giving us a call here shortly. And then somebody has a question on tour excursions at the port destinations. Can you tell us just a little bit about how those work and maybe what options they have?
Sure. Okay, so we have a really huge shore excursion program, because as you heard, we're so invested in giving everybody on board an authentic shore experience. So we have a really robust group of shore excursion options, okay? And you can take, a little more simple shore excursion, or you can take a really involved 2 or 3 day long shore excursion. We have it all, or you can have you can have a shore excursion designed just for you. We can take care of that for you as well. And right now there's a lot of question as to whether or not you will need to take a shore excursion, that if the cruise will require you to take one of the shore excursions that they have, or if you'll be able to disembark into the port on your own. That's all because of all the coronavirus stuff. It's still somewhat up in the air. The Cruise Line International Association, they are making sure that everything is going to be super safe, and we're just going to wait a little bit longer to see which it will be. But regardless, we'll have something offered to you, whether you just want to take something simple, you just need to get off the ship, or maybe you're able to just go and wander by yourself. But we're there, and we have a very robust shore excursion program in all of our ports of call.
Well, and thank you talking about the cruise line shore excursions, and of course those that maybe people are more familiar with, just going out on their own. I do know that when some of the cruise ships started to sail around Italy, the Italian cruise ships, they were mandated to do only their shore excursions. So I know that is something that is possibly the way things are going to be going, at least in the near term.
Right.
The next question comes about the staterooms, and if there's pictures on your website so that people can see how large these are and what the layout is.
Yes, there most definitely are. And gosh, I am thinking I might be able to jump to a picture right now. I am going to just share my screen, and oh goodness gracious, now it didn't let me do it. Let's see here, from current slide, no. Okay, well, I want to show you a picture of just our classic suite that I have here. It's 277 square feet, which is huge for just like a standard stateroom. And this is on the Star class ships. You know, like I say, you have a walk-in closet, you have a bathroom with double sinks and marble vanities, and lots and lots of room. On the smaller sailing ships, the staterooms are a little bit smaller, but still quite large for cruise line standards. So just because the ships are small, the staterooms are not small. We have fewer people on board. We have fewer per capita on board. So like I say, lots of room for everybody. But yes, the pictures are on the website. And I will also mention that, it looks like I'm not able to get that to you right now, but I will also mention so if you go to where it says ships on the website, then it will give you a layout and pictures of each one of the ships and what the staterooms look like and the size of the staterooms and all of that sort of thing. So definitely take a look there at windstar.com, and you can see all of that. And oh yes, and if those of you can see me, this is our new brochure. We are very excited that it is now in print. You can see how big and fat it is. We don't always print them, but now they are in print, and you can go to, again, windstar.com, and you can order one to come right to your house for free. So go ahead and do that, because there you are going to see, again, pictures of the staterooms and get a nice closer look at all of the itineraries. But for a little cruise line, we have a big brochure. So please feel free to order one of those.
Okay, and then if anybody else has any further questions, please, we have another minute or two with Stephanie, so please put it in the chat. And the last question I have in the chat right now has to deal with families and multi-generation.
Yeah.
Is that something that is normally welcome on board a Windstar Cruise?
Yeah. Okay, so, and again, that's kind of a yes and no, right? We probably, our biggest group of guests that we get are multi-generational groups, but generally speaking, it's adult children traveling with their parents, that sort of thing. But of course, a lot of times there's going to be kids that come on board. Now, we actually don't encourage children younger than 6 and younger. We can sometimes do it as an exception, because again, if you have a group traveling and there's 1 or 2 kids that are going to come along, we really don't want to exclude them. The only reason why we have this policy is because we don't have children's activities on board, right? It's not that we don't love children. In fact, every time I've been on a Windstar cruise, there's usually one or two kids, and they are so taken care of by our crew, because our crew, they tend to miss their own kids, right? And they just love and they just spoil these kids. So we love kids, but we don't have activities for them on board. So a lot of times it's important just to judge, your kids, your grandkids, are they the kind that like to hang out with the family and can kind of entertain themselves? Then great, that'll be fine, especially teenagers and older preteens. They usually do just fine. It's just a matter of not having the activities set aside for kids.
Okay, well, I don't see anything else in the chat, but I do appreciate everything you showed us tonight, Stephanie. That was fabulous. Thank you very much for showing us the world of Windstar Cruises. We definitely appreciate that.
Oh,
and to everybody else, we realize that next week is a St. Patrick's Day, so we are going to be going to the Emerald Island. And we're also going to be having some things from the United Kingdom with both Scotland and England and London with our friends from Celebrated Experiences. So we hope to see you then. Stephanie, do you have any parting comments before we shut down for the evening?
No, just thanks again for taking your time to get to know a little bit about Windstar. And I really hope you're able to get out there and cruise again very, very soon. Thank you.
I think we all hope for that. That's true. Okay, again, Stephanie, thank you very much, and we will talk to you later. And for all of you, we hope to see you again next week for Ireland and the UK. Thank you, and good night.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Thank you.